Hey guys, this is HTO Mario, and I am going to go ahead and start this Bronze to Grandmaster off. As you can see, we're currently in a Bronze game. It's just about to start up. It's against a Terran player. This is our very first game. Now, it's going to be an interesting one because, again, it's Bronze and I have Grandmaster experience. However, we're definitely going to be able to learn some things here. In this game, I'm going to be spawning a Zerg, and I'm going to spawn in the top left, so the Terran player will be in the bottom right. And we're going to be playing kind of greedy this game, a little bit more passive, and I'm going to show you that if you're kind of like a newcomer Zerg, how there is one way to approach this matchup. Now, you can see from me starting that I'm going to send the Overlord straight to his base right away. And before I do that, however, I'm going to start a worker, because the earlier that you start the worker, the earlier it's mining, the earlier you have more minerals. So if you send the Overlord first and you wait just a second, then your minerals are going to be just a second later, and it all kind of adds up. It's not the biggest of deals, but if you're a perfectionist and the higher ranking you go, everything adds up to be just a little bit important. Another thing you'll see me doing in here is setting up my hotkeys. And oh, by the way, at 9 drones, I go ahead and grab another overload and send it to a different part of the base so I can check out his gas. One to check out the expansion area, the front area, and one to check out the gas. But you can see me testing my camera hotkeys here, and what I do is I click on my minimap and go to the area of the next bases I want to expand to. And I've changed my hotkey for camera hotkeys in options hotkey, camera hotkey, to resemble what I want, and that is Shift F1 through F5, and then I just F1 to go to the location. So what you'll see me do is occasionally when you see me play, you'll see me test or swap in between the bases. I just hit F1 to go over there, and you'll see me hit F1, F2, F3, just to make sure that everything's set. So like I select the drone, then I hit F2, sorry, F2, because that is my natural, and plop it down. Now I do like to get my natural with my 14th drone and then start my now 14th drone. It would be 15th if I didn't morph that into something, but a Zerg, they morph their units into buildings. And when I'm referring to 14, 15, their supply, it's in the top right corner. You'll see my minerals, my gas, and then my supply. And then, you need more overlords. The higher supply you have, they kind of increase it by 8. Now you see that on 16 supply we got a drone, and we're going back up again to 16 supply. This is a very standard, very, very greedy build. And that's fine, we're allowed to play greedy. A 16 spawning pool, and then we go ahead and we're gonna need an overlord and another drone. So it's very standard. There's certain ways the Terrans can kill this, so it helps when you're thinking of a strategy how people can try to stop this. And we see that his barracks is at his front. If it wasn't, then maybe he put 2 barracks at 11 supply each to where he cut workers near our base, and very soon he would be building a bunker at the bottom of a ramp, which would be very difficult to hold off because all we would have is drones. But I'm feeling pretty confident in this game that I would be able to outmaneuver him, or that I would see it in advance, or even if I don't see it in advance, that I could kind of retreat to one base, because the game isn't over. You can just stay in your one base and defend. But it's definitely more difficult. And once I reach 100 gas, I put my drones on the mineral line. I have 16 mining. It's not the highest optimal. You can even go up to 1920 on one base mining, but after 16, I like to split it up. And I went in his base, and I can see there's no gas geyser there. One gas geyser usually means that it's kind of like a heavy mineral place, a heavy marines, or a command center. So we're kind of taking a look for another expansion, and no, there's no expansion. So we're gonna take a peek over here, just trying to figure out exactly what is going on. So we see a factory, and it's switching add-ons, so we know that we have probably about another 40 seconds before Hellions, if they are Hellions, most likely Hellions, reach our base. So we're gonna go ahead and drop a Spine Crawler, because we want the Spine Crawler kind of finished. It'll help defend against Hellions, and then we're gonna go ahead and spread some Creep Tumors, one for the main, so we can spread it all around the main. And one of the reasons we want to do this is later on, if he's doing drops, we can go ahead and defend all areas with our queen. Um, We can also see everything, so if he's dropping off in the corner of our base, we're actually able to see it. That's a big advantage. And at the front, we are doing it because we want to be able to wall off. See, we want the spine, but as long as the buildings are building, Hellions can't kill them that fast. So what we're doing is we get the spine first, and then we place our buildings for a bit of a wall off. And what we're gonna do is you can either do a Baneling Nest and 2 Evo chambers, or you can go ahead and do 2 Evo chambers and a Roach Warren, and you can get just a few roaches to make yourself safer against quite a few attacks, specifically roaches. Or Hellions, sorry. Roaches are pretty damn good against Hellions. Oh, we gotta make that Overlord safe, and let's take another poke in this base. Now, we have 16 mining at each base, so we kind of want to go ahead and get all of our gas geysers and start a lair in just a minute. You can make it in your main, but they're more likely to scan that. You can make it in your natural, but they're more likely to attack it. So it's a bit of a gamble on how safe you feel, kind of where you want to place it, spread out the creep tumors. Very important. And here he is, and can't quite fit in. The spine crawler reaches. The queen reaches if he tries to attack the spine crawler. So we're in a relatively safe position. We could have even started a hatchery before the spine crawler and put it at our third location because it would be done right about now. And he wouldn't have had the capabilities to kill it. Usually you want to start your third hatchery about 6 minutes and 30 seconds, sometimes even 6 minutes, depending on the type of build you're playing. So ours is late, but we've been playing pretty greedy drone-wise. We're quite confident right now. We're also getting some roaches to make it a little easier to defend that. The lair will help us make it so we have something to stop banshees in terms of seeing them. The queens will stop them, and spores don't take too long to make. We see that he's getting stim, so he's going to be a bit of a bio player. Might as well get a Baneling Nest and a Spire. So we're going to start the Spire first, and then we can start the upgrades, and then the Baneling Nest. We're feeling pretty confident that we don't need the Baneling Nest quite yet, but if we're, if we're sensing an attack, we would get the Roach Warrens. The Roach Warren probably before the Baneling Nest. In my personal preference, there's the Baneling Nest. You do want to start it shortly after you start your lair or have your lair finished because you definitely want to get Baling's speed, which is massive in defending many bio attacks. And since he's getting for stim, or he's upgrading from the tech lab from the barracks, which could be stim or combat shields. But we know that overall it's gonna be a heavy marine type attack, marine or marauder. So we definitely want Balings. Now, as greedy as we are, we're getting a lot of drones. We still have to get just a few units. And we drop a changeling, see a marauder. We recognize that he is making a bio play. Oops, we kind of messed up there, but we went ahead and fixed it. Alright, so now I prefer to keep 16 mining at each base. Again, you can go up to 20 mining at each base, but my personal preference is 16. And we start another hatchery because this hatchery is kind of late, and we're just gonna wait on saturating the gases. Even though the gas is important, we're very confident that we can hold off with just Zerglings for now. So we're getting quite a large amount of drones at the other base. We have about 18 right now, and since we're not mining the gases, we have a lot more mineral income than normally we would have. So we're just gonna go ahead and use that and start banding speed. Now, if we got that gas geysers right away, excuse me, we wouldn't have all of this many minerals. So it allows for a lot of Zerglings, which means we need another hatchery for larva injects and more Zerglings. We do keep some Banelings and Zerglings in our main in case there's a drop. We keep some in our front in case there's an attack. Maybe he's not paying attention. Maybe we can send just a few Banelings in kind of fast. Send the queen to attack the medevac, and these guys will go ahead and defend the drop and just make a few more drones from the hatchery that was attacked. I see I made too many mutalisks and I can't get my armor right now, which is definitely a shame, but we're gonna get our gas geyser and another expansion because now we want the gas because we can produce mutalisks. And because we've had so many extra minerals, we can go ahead and still make a lot of Zerglings, get that expansion, get double gas geysers. We're not too concerned, and you can see that I've split up my mutalisks to be on 3 and my army on 1. I really like my army on my production on 4, so I put the queens there. I like my hatcheries, command centers, and Nexi on 2. And I love my army on 1, 3, my upgrades on 5, but if I need 5, I will use them instead and just try to remember my upgrades. It's not the greatest system, but it definitely works for me. Just want a few Zerglings to kind of absorb the shots. We want to kill the medevac. We don't want them to get out of there. There's a Widow Mine buried, so we're going to get a Spore Crawler in that location since Spine Crawlers are about to finish. And, you know, we're going to go ahead and keep up with the creep spread. And we want to move that Overlord that you just saw slightly over because we want to be able to look up the ramp to place our creep, because the creep will keep going up. We just don't have vision. So there we go. And now we want to think about, you know, a lot more banelings to see if we can just kind of force our brute way into his base. We're pretty sure he doesn't have a third based on how his natural was. But overall, you know, we're starting a lair. We got to think about getting Ultralisk soon. We're going to do a huge attack and not rebuild at all. We're going to save our money to do a massive Ultralisk switch. It'll leave us temporarily weaker if we don't do a lot of damage, but it's a risk that I personally enjoy taking. Because, you know, Ultralisks are just the bee's knees. They're a fun unit to have. So, I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of this game. It's ready to cut forward from here on out, and I will see you in the next one, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching.